Okay, so your first house coming up for review is the 6th house. This is the house of all kinds of routines. So this is normally your work life. So it's your work projects, your work place, your work colleagues, any sorts of projects that you're busy involved in, the, your actual work routines. But it's also mastery of your craft. So even if you don't actually go to a workplace, perhaps you are a crafter and you do things at home, it covers that as well. It's also about your health and your diet and your well-being. So it covers that. It also covers the your pets. So with 6th house coming in, or any one of those areas could be coming in, or it could be both. It could be sort of work and health and diet and well-being related. Sometimes the two do come in together. So see how this plays out for you. The astrological guidance is lunar eclipse change, and the goddess guidance is Abundância, prosperity. So what this is saying for you, we are in eclipse season at the moment. So we have had 2 already in June, and there's another one coming up early in July. So, certainly the eclipse energy is going to be relevant for you for July. So this may have been building through June and now comes out for you in July, or one of the 3 may have had more of an impact than the others. These eclipses don't affect everybody completely. Some feel it more mildly than others, but this is saying that in this particular instance, you're going to be affected by this. So lunar eclipse always brings in change. But it's usually an abrupt change, something that comes up upon you quickly. Now, this may have been something which you were aware of. So you were aware of certain elements coming up that needed to be dealt with, or that you felt were sort of moving towards you in some way. But the speed and the abruptness of it will more than likely take you by surprise. So it can be a very abrupt and uncomfortable change coming up for you. It could also be, very sudden and swift. But it's normally a bit of an upheaval. So it's usually an emotional upheaval, and that can create change in certain environments. And quite often it does affect either a relationship, or it affects your work life, what it is you're doing in your daily life. And with the 6th house coming up, that's more than likely. So it could be work related, or it could be health and diet and well-being related. But something comes up front and center and you have to deal with it. So it's almost like, for some people it will be a perception change, or an attitude change, but it's going to affect you quite deeply, and you will literally have to be moving forward or changing something, or you will be out of your rut, out of your comfort zone, while you are grappling with the changes that need to be put into place. So it could be something that comes up really swiftly. Maybe it's health related, or it could be work related. Perhaps your health is affected on some level, and that changes the way you work. So, there's a couple of ways this could come in for you. It could also be pet related as well, if you have pets. So see how this comes out for you. But it normally is an abrupt change. It does feel uncomfortable. But it can also just be some sort of attitude or realization that comes upon you. And now you start to make changes because of that perception change or realization change. Or it could be a physical change, So, it can be something that's sort of been bubbling under the surface and hasn't really come to light. You were sort of vaguely aware, perhaps not of all of the elements of this situation which was coming for you, but you kind of felt a bit uncomfortable about certain things, or certain things crossed your mind, and now it is here to be dealt with. It is a cyclical situation, so it could be, if you're a feminine, it could be to do with your cycles. Something may be changing there. So it could be that. It could be health related. It could manifest in a number of ways. You could also have a feminine influence coming in for you with this card as well. Perhaps there's, sort of some sort of feminine influence coming in, which is, and somehow this is going to manifest for you in this house. It's also, because it's cyclical, if there are losses which are experienced in this house at this time. Do not be too concerned about that. It may feel uncomfortable, and you may feel a little bit, like I said, it's going to be an upheaval, so you will be feeling a bit at sea initially. But whatever is lost during this period will come back to you later on in the cycle, and it will be better. So embrace the change, whatever it is that needs to be done. It's an inevitable change. It's a very necessary change which you are needing to go through. So this is something that is supposed to happen. So rather embrace it, and your attitude and your demeanor about handling these changes will determine everything, will determine the smoothness of the changes. So, take it on board and have a look at it and see how, once that initial shift has occurred, how you can best use these energies to move forward now. You may have to let go of quite a few things in order to move forward, but they're necessary and they're inevitable, actually. At some point, it's going to happen anyway. So deal with it and move on. The changes it could wrap up within a 6-week period. So once the initial shift has come about, it could wrap up within a 6-week period, but it can also, the effects of this can be felt for a good 6-month period as well. So, once the shift has occurred, 6 months from now, you can look back and you will see the transition, the cyclical transition that you have been in through this change, whatever it may bring for you in the 6th house. Your goddess guidance is abundance, prosperity. So a lovely card to be having actually in conjunction with this. So what this is saying is the universe is pouring its abundance out to you. Be open to receiving. So as I said, your attitude and your perception of this change that's coming in is going to determine the course of the unfolding of it. So what it's saying, when I say to you, it could be a realization or a perception change. Perhaps it is time for you to examine your beliefs about receiving. So a great many of us have a lot of work to do on giving and receiving. The two have to be balanced. You cannot have more of one and less of the other. They must be balanced, and it's a continual sort of aspect that you're working on. But once you get used to balancing the giving and receiving, then it becomes like second nature. But for somebody who's used to giving all the time and is guilty about receiving, or has very deep-seated issues with receiving, then that needs to be addressed. Okay, so there's your attitude and your and perception change. But it could also be that you are wary of receiving in a certain situation, which is in your 6th house. So it could be work related, as I said, or it could be health and diet and well-being. Somewhere in there, it's going to come in for you. I mean, it could even be that you are receiving assistance or some sort of shift at work, and now, everything is changing around you, and at the end of it, things will be better. So this is saying prosperity can manifest in a number of ways. It can be a windfall coming in, so quite strongly it could be a windfall which is going to help you in some way. So whatever the shift is, it's going to release something. It may take something away, but ultimately it will bring something better in for you. So approach the change with gratitude and with grace, and that will determine the outcome. It could also be prosperity as in support or some other form of abundance which is going to assist you in some way. So it could just be, when I say support, it could be from work colleagues, or it could be from, your manager, or it could be in the health and the diet and the well-being situation. Perhaps you have a health issue which now rises up and has to be dealt with, and you're going to be receiving support in some way to initiate changes or to tackle whatever it is. It could also be that you have had an existing issue which has been a problem for you for a long period of time, and something changes, and some kind of resolution or support or prosperity comes in to help you overcome this problem, but it may just make you feel a bit uncomfortable in that initial period. So see how you're going, but ultimately something very good is going to come out of this, whatever it may be. Then the second house of influence is the first house. This is the house of the body. So we seem to be, it's a strong possibility that health and diet and well-being is coming in here. Possibly the shift is going to bring you an abundance of energy, or going to open a door for you in some way, or it's going to bring prosperity in for you, which is going to help you in some way. Because the first house is all about the body. It's your physical body, your vitality, your life force, your energy, all of those aspects, but it's also your independence and the way you are meeting the world, your personal independence as you are making your way through the world. You know, when you set sail for somewhere, it's that initiation that sends you forward. It's how you're meeting the world, and what you're projecting outwards. So this is, you know, this covers what other people will see when they meet you or when they see you. So whatever you are projecting. It's also your characteristics and your personality. All of those aspects come in. It's also your self-oriented interests. So this may be, you know, like a physical interest. Perhaps you're a sporty interest, or some kind of activity like yoga or walking or running, or just something which is going to ultimately benefit internally and externally on your body. So it's all of that. Your life force, your vitality is very much, you know, important with the first house. It's also your appearance. So how you are appearing to others. Like I said, what you're projecting outwards, but it's very much about the self and how you are meeting the world, how you are, you know, moving forward, your personal independence and so on. So underneath we have the Aries I am energy. So this is a very fiery energy, trailblazing energy. So you may be at this time be wanting to, perhaps you are receiving some kind of resolution to an existing health or work issue or whatever, and it's freeing up time for you now to pursue other interests, self-oriented interests, whether it's a physical regime, perhaps it's a new exercise routine or a diet or something, or just freedom from your normal routines. Perhaps you are getting some kind of boost or change, which is going to release you from some other, you know, sort of situation, which ultimately wasn't suiting you, it wasn't helping you. Whereas now something is changing and it's going to free you up in some way, and you're going to get the energy and the enthusiasm and the direction to push you forward. But it could very well be very much a physical thing. So possibly with the goddess guidance, we have Rhiannon, sorceress. Possibly you've been indoors too long, or you've been sitting around indoors for too long. Perhaps it's a job that you've been doing, or you haven't been feeling that well, and now you're getting over it in some way. Some kind of shift, or you know, some sort of blessing is coming to you, and now you've got the energy or the wherewithal to move forward. So it could be that this is a very no-nonsense attitude, but it's a trailblazing attitude. So it could be that you're doing something new. You're doing something perhaps that others haven't done, or you are starting something new, planting new things, or it's a new idea. It could even be a new idea that is coming to you. And this is where prosperity comes in as well, because prosperity can be a really beneficial idea, or a very beneficial circumstance, which is going to ultimately bring you some form of abundance. So it could be related to that, but it's a no-nonsense, cards on the table situation with Aries I am. But just avoid, because it's dealing with the body, and because your health and diet may be coming up here, avoid rushing or doing, not thinking before you act. Any of those sorts of things, you know, or quick temper, where you'll feel your blood pressure rising. Okay. So keep yourself in check. The very best way to harness this energy is measured action. But with the Aries energy, something quick may be coming in, and you may just have to go with whatever it needs to be done. Maybe it's an opportunity, a spontaneous reaction to something. Perhaps, as I said, an opportunity is coming to you and you need to move quickly on it. It could be that as well. But it could also be, with the Aries energy, it could be that you're coming across as much more energetic or fiery. Avoid the quick temper and the rushing, as I said, because you could be coming across in that way. What you really want to do is you want to harness that energy to get things done. To harness that energy to actually move yourself forward in some way. That's the very best way to harness the Aries energy. But it could be something that you're doing that you have not done before, or you're taking a leadership role of some sort. So just see how that plays out for you. The other thing that could be coming is you could be feeling very impatient about moving forward on something. But the energies later on, as we'll get to that, and also here, the energies are saying that perhaps it's not, you may just have to wait a little bit until you take action on certain things. So if it's a physical activity, you may want to just walk before you run. You may want to warm up before you take a big step. You may just want to dream and plan a little bit before you take a big step. So rein in the impatience, rein in the quick temper, rather plan better if you can what it is you need to do. If you need to take quick action, well then, that's the spontaneous Aries coming out. But just see, rather make sure your intentions are good and that you are well thought out if possible. Because you have Rhiannon, Sorceress. You are a magical person who can manifest your clear intentions into reality. So I'm thinking what it's saying is that you may feel very strongly that you need to do something, but you need to be clear on what your intentions are. What is the outcome that you're aiming for here? Because you have very strong manifestation energy with you at this time. So you want to manifest the right course of action. You want to manifest the right, whatever it may be, the right attitude, the right demeanor, the right physical routine for yourself, or whatever it is that you're trying to initiate. Even if it's the way you are projecting yourself currently, you may want to just think this through carefully. Spend time outdoors, get out into nature, and you will receive a lot of information, in that endeavor. But really, it's saying that you need to think about what you want to manifest. So think positive, speak positive, and do positive things. And that is what you will draw to you. All right. So avoid negativity, avoid complaining, or any kind of victim mentality. You need to have absolute faith in yourself and have absolute faith that whatever it is that you're trying to initiate here is going to be successful. So it's all about positivity, and that is what you will manifest for yourself. The next house of interest is the 12th house. This is the house of the unconscious, which rules about 90% of our ourselves. So this is where you go. This is the digging deep card. This is the all the hidden motivations and behaviors and drives which we have that drives your outward behavior and what you think and what you say. It's all those hidden things deep down, your unconscious self, which really dictates everything. So this is the realm of the 12th house. It's the house also of your spiritual life, your meditation, your mysticism, and your healing. Everything to do with that. It's also the house of escapism. So this is where you go when you want to get away from it all, or if you enjoy retreats, withdrawals, seclusion, any kind of time alone by yourself where you actually really think deeply about certain things and just give yourself time. All right. It's also the house of dealing with any kinds of issues, whether they, sort of addictions of any kind come up with the 12th house. Any resolutions and endings come up with the 12th house. Karmic lessons. Also service to others. A lot of people who are in service to others, in service professions, have strong 12th house. So any sort of service profession, which could be 6th house related, as I said, it's your work. Perhaps something is changing there. Perhaps you're moving into a different element of the 12th house, or perhaps you're now focusing more on helping others. So 12th house covers that. It also is the house of twin flames. So this is, whatever you want to call it, deep soul connections with others. But specifically twin flames does fall in under the 12th house. So it could be any one of those areas coming up for you at this time.